Let's explore now a very ambitious idea announced by President Obama in his State of the Union address, a commitment to cure cancer in much the way the U.S. committed itself to reaching the moon in the 60s. It will be led by Joe Biden and is aimed at ending the disease that killed the vice president's son and 600,000 other Americans every year. NBC's Ann Thompson explains what this new national effort could mean for the millions of Americans battling cancer.
2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
You got the vaccination? Are you okay? I mean, you see, no, it works. Or or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're. No, I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, something, or whether those aliens are here or not, who are the people they talk to beyond the kids who love talking about it?
The Moonshot is the symbol of American ambition and achievement. Now Vice President Joe Biden will lead a similar effort to cure cancer.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But going to Mars should be one of the next series of steps that
President Joe Biden awarding $150 million today to 8 innovative cancer research programs. It's part of the president's Cancer Moonshot pledge to cut cancer-related deaths in half by 2047. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details from Washington.
Today, President Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden are awarding 8 programs as part of the administration's Cancer Moonshot.
This is an issue both the President and the First Lady care about deeply, obviously for important personal reasons to them.
The $150 million in awards comes from the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, which Congress established under the Department of Health and Human Services. For years, Biden has touted the Cancer Moonshot with the goal of cutting the cancer death rate in half by 2047.
I will keep fighting for my Cancer Moonshot so we can end cancer as we know it, because we can do it.
The 8 programs awarded are developing new technologies to help surgeons remove tumors in people with cancer. It comes as a new study by the American Cancer Society projects an alarming rise in cancer diagnoses and deaths among men, expected to nearly double by 2050.
We'll pick some common cancers that are the leading causes of cancer among men. For example, colorectal cancer. At the age of 45, you should start having these discussions. At the age of 50, prostate cancer is another big one. You should start having discussions about prostate cancer screening. They can be different from person to person.
Biden lost his son, Beau, to brain cancer in 2015. He first launched the Cancer Moonshot Initiative as vice president.
For Biden, this is personal.
Please welcome Vice President Joe Biden.
If I could wave a wand, I'd cure cancer. Why? Because no one believes it can be done. But we're starting to do it. There's nothing beyond our capacity. I mean it. Not a joke. Not a joke.
Over the last 3 years of this show, we have shown you study after study showing that the parts of the mRNA vaccine, the constituents of that are upregulating, downregulating the immune system, leading to dysfunction. So we have this new study as well out the same month. So we have these competing studies, these rails of ideas, and it's important to really let truth come to the surface here. mRNA inactivated vaccines temporarily impair interferon signaling, possibly causing immune suppression and leaving the individual in a vulnerable situation against any other pathogen. In addition, this immune suppression could allow the reactivation of latent viral, bacterial, or fungal infections, and might also allow the uncontrolled growth of cancer cells.
Wow.
It goes on to say this, number 4, the combined immune suppression produced by SARS-CoV-2 infection and further enhanced by vaccination could explain a plethora of autoimmune conditions such as cancers, reinfections, and deaths temporally associated with both. It is conceivable that the excess deaths reported in several highly COVID-19 vaccinated countries may be explained in part by this combined immunosuppressive effect.
Wow,
so
it's
we're
all
having
crumbling
pieces
down.
of the puzzle.
It's marketing, though. It's very important that they always have a marketing pitch that describes why this is helping people.
Oh yeah.
So example, we have Trump with Larry Ellison and Sam Altman at the White House announcing a $500 billion Stargate program. And the whole idea is it's going to help end disease for the average American person. And when you listen to it, no, it's going to provide massive taxpayer money working through government contracts, making it look like a private investment, which it's not. It's coming from the taxpayer. And what it's going to do is it's going to fund and build data centers all over the country through the contractors who now have the big contracts at the intelligence agencies and DOD that will be the backbone of the control grid.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is spun according to what's good for people. And the lie in it is, if you look at what they're proposing to do with mRNA technology, it's basically you're going to use poison to address, the poisoning that the last vaccines gave you. So it's literally it's a progressive poisoning model. It's basically Operation Warp Speed 2.0 is air cover for building the control grid.
December 22nd, 2021. Trump very appreciative of Biden's praise for Operation Warp Speed. Former President Donald Trump was very appreciative and surprised that President Biden publicly credited his administration's role in helping to quickly deliver the COVID-19 vaccine to the American people. Trump shared his reaction on Tuesday night in an interview on Fox News after Biden made the remarks earlier from the White House while discussing updates from the federal pandemic response, saying, quote, "I'm very appreciative of that. I'm surprised to hear it," Trump told Fox News of the praise from Biden. Trump revealed Sunday he'd received the third jab at an event with Bill O'Reilly, eliciting boos from some of the crowd. Eliciting boos from the smart people in the crowd. Oh.
Yeah, the poison spiral begins.
Right. So Kennedy has to go into his confirmation hearing probably before the end of the month, when Trump has just announced a $500 billion investment in mRNA technology.
Wow.
Okay?
What, 500 billion?
500 billion. How are you going to handle that one? The refiners fire people on all sides of that discussion are going to come out of the woodwork, and we're going to have a huge... This is going to be a hell of a discussion.
Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
All right. Hi, and welcome to Microsoft Research Speaker Series. I was told to say that. And I'm here today to tell you that we're actually hacking the software of life, and that it's changing the way we think about prevention and treatment of disease. So here's all the biology you need to know in 30 seconds. Our body is made out of organs. Our organs are made out of cells. And in every cell, there's this thing called messenger RNA, or mRNA for short, that transmits the critical information from the DNA, our genes, to the protein, which is really the stuff we're all made out of. This is the critical information that determines what a cell will actually do. And so we think of it like an operating system. And it's not just in every cell of our body, it's actually in every cell of every organism alive. It's the same thing. And so if you could actually change that, which we call the software of life, if you could introduce a line of code or change a line of code, it turns out that has profound implications for everything from the flu to cancer. It took us decades and billions of dollars to sequence the human genome. When we've done that, we achieved that in 2003. And now we're less than 15 years later, and it takes us a week. And we can do it for every patient. So now we can go and figure out what exactly is screwed up in a patient, and we can use that information to make a vaccine. We take that information, say a patient with lung cancer, and we take the biopsy, we figure out the sequence, we figure out their immune system, and that all becomes information. It goes up in the cloud into a bioinformatic algorithm, and then automatically makes a vaccine that we administer into their normal tissue, into the muscle, to try and wake up their immune system. Now, the challenge, of course, is that every person's cancer is different. Mutations happen by random chance. And so to do this, you have to make it personalized. So this is me, but if every patient is different, what we're going to have to do is make a personalized cancer vaccine for every patient. And that's exactly what we've started to do.
In 2012, DARPA, which is the research division of the military, started a program. It's called the Adept Protect P3 program, Pandemic Prevention Platform. Look what they proposed. They said, listen, we are going to use gene-encoded vaccines as a new category of preventive measures based on RNA or DNA, and in this approach, we will stop a pandemic within 60 days. Within 60 days, in 2012, this was started. When President Trump came out and said it's Operation Warp Speed and they're going to develop vaccines, it would have been nice if he was prepped, or Anthony Fauci was prepped, to say, listen, we're working on this. We've been working on this since 2012. This is not new. This isn't Warp Speed. This is 10 years in coming. The deception out in the open that this was rapidly developed, that there was all this stunning innovation. The contractors, Moderna got its first multi-million-dollar contract in 2013. The military works on programs, both the threat, SARS-CoV-2, and work on the answer, monoclonal antibodies and vaccines. But the military has biological threat programs. There's one for smallpox, monkeypox, there's one for anthrax, and who knows how many more programs. This was part of a program. But the military came up with the idea of messenger RNA vaccines, not Pfizer or Moderna, not Operation Warp Speed. It wasn't in response to what was, came out of Wuhan, China. This is a military program. When it was announced by Health and Human Services, Alex Azar, in the Department of Defense, that's who entered into this, ushered us into the vaccine era. The military. Emergency use authorization is a mechanism to get rapid new technology into the military. It's not a mechanism for the public. Its first application broadly to the public was with the COVID-19 pandemic.